This is very important. What I'm about to tell you. So please, Harm TV. Harm TV. Hello. What I'm about to tell you does not come easy. It's weighed on me many nights. I've actually been worried about it for the last couple of years, but I have kept trying to believe that it couldn't be possible, that what I'm about to decide is not. How could that be? I was put on this planet to blow up the sport of arm wrestling. That's what I believed. This is a very hard choice to make because basically I've decided 2011 will be my final year doing what I'm doing today, which is everything is first arm wrestling. I got in the sport 7 years ago, and at that time I was looking for an opportunity. I was working very hard, 2 jobs, going to school, and the whole goal is, to advance yourself. I mean, I don't really care about myself. I care about my wife and my daughter. I promise. I've been married 17 years, and when I met my wife, it's kind of an ongoing joke that, I overpromised and underdelivered when I met her. I mean, I'm a pretty good salesperson when I'm passionate about something. And when I met her, I just, swept her off her feet. Follow me, I'll give you the world. I sold her that I was the guy. If she would just love me, I would deliver the world to her. She'd grown up in a family with money as a child, and then when she was a teenager, they kind of lost everything, and, she had to drop out of college, and she just kind of became she was a poor college student, Dad could no longer pay the bills, and, I never had a lot of money growing up, but it was always my dream would just be, pay the bills. And, I met my wife and married her in less than a couple months. And I always said, I'm the guy. I'll take care of you. And it's 17 years, it's kind of an ongoing joke. In the very beginning, I was always trying to start something and always failed at it. And, it became a thing where if I wanted to start this new business, she would say, like, yeah, here we go again. And, there was one time I was a screen printer, I was a water filtration salesperson, all the big plans. I even, at one time, I would go around to Toys R Us's and try to buy, and Walmart's and try to buy hard to find toys, and then I would set up a booth at the swap meet, and I would sell the toys at a markup, trying to make a profit. And just nothing ever seemed to pan out. When my daughter was born in '96, I actually had gotten my family into a bunch of debt that we couldn't pay off, and needless to say, my wife had been through a lot and started to doubt that I was that guy that I said I was. Really struggled. When my daughter was 1 or 2, on food stamps sort of thing, and just having a hard time getting by. And then, I kind of got my act together and I started working a couple jobs, started being real frugal with my money and saving it, building my credit back up. And when I found the sport of arm wrestling, I at that time was going to school full-time, working 2 full-time jobs. I'd saved up $40,000 in IRAs and 401ks. And, I was really proud of myself that, got my credit back to be top-notch and, just hard-working and, okay, now I'm finally right on the right track. Then I got into video editing and doing some weddings here and there. And when, I found the sport of arm wrestling, it was an opportunity, right? It was something different. I remember Harold Ryden said, nobody does this, and, it was kind of an opportunity. I had that, when I was in that water filtration business, I'd taken a lot of seminars, and, one of the basic things about business is if you want to start a business, you find a need, and you fill it. And if it's worthy, then you'll be rewarded for your efforts. That's the country we live in, right? I mean, that's the American dream, they say. So, I'm not going to edit this. I'm just putting it up and telling you how this is honest, straight from the heart. This is no marketing BS. I'm just telling you something that's weighing on my heart. Because, I don't want one day just Arm TV not to be there and you call me and say, hey, what the hell? Why didn't you tell us? So, I found the sport, and, my wife seemed really, skeptical at first. Started doing a few little things here. And it took her a couple years to become a believer, that I was going to be passionate about this. I was going to stick with it. I ended up leaving my other job. I ended up choosing to leave school just because I couldn't handle the workload. And, the day I was going to quit school, I looked at her and I said, hey, I got this. This is going to pay off for the family. Our efforts will, this will happen. I believe in my heart that this is what my calling. And, she kind of rolled her eyes. She said, I hope you know what you're doing. And just to give you a little side note, my dad always worked for himself. Growing up, he installed appliances, contractor, remodeled bathrooms, but he always worked for himself. And my brother always worked for him. It was just him and my brother, or brothers, at one time or another. Both of them worked for my dad. And I always thought, why, Dad, why don't you branch out? Why don't you have a bunch of work trucks and a bunch of employees and have a big company? And, because I always saw him, he had to, every day he still had to go to work and install appliances. And if he didn't, then he didn't get paid, right? So I always said, if I'm going to be in business, I would grow it and branch out. A couple of years back, I read a story about a guy in the Midwest who, I think they made gears or something, and he grew the company from nothing to something, and now he was retired, and the company's worth $1 billion, and he just gave it to all his employees, and instantly they all became millionaires overnight. And I always said, if I could run a big company, that's the kind of guy I'd be, right? So, I believe I put my heart and soul into Arm TV, and this January will be 7 years, and it just hasn't paid off. I mean, we're in this vortex where you can't get ahead. It's I don't know how to describe it, but the potential's there. I still believe the potential will always be there, but I've learned a lot about growing business, but yet not enough. And you got to have revenue to throw at it. And when I did my projections when I sat down and I showed my wife, if I just got 5 new members a month, every month for the next 5 years, that would be enough to have, to be a good job and, trust me. Well, my 5-year plan, I always thought a small business, I read somewhere if you hit 5 years, then the chances of you going out of business will go down. And I know everyone's saying the economy. I got that, but still, at the end of the day, I'm still going to tournaments. I still see people spending money. I still blow $10 or $20 a month on fast food or whatever, random stuff. So the potential's still there. I don't feel that it's because of the economy and I just hang in there. It'll bounce back, sort of thing. I mean, we have not very many more members than we had 3 years ago, and it's just, and basically what I'm here to say is that 2011 will be my final year of ARMTV, because I have to, everything I've done in the last 7 years put arm wrestling first, over family, over my wife, over my daughter, because I believe it would come back and pay off in the end. So for some naysayers out there who might say, oh, you've made a living off arm wrestling for the last X amount of years, how can you be complaining? It's like, okay, check it out. So arm wrestling has benefited me tremendously on a personal level. I mean, I have experienced so much, made so many friends, done so many amazing things in the sport, and it's benefited me a world. But my wife and my daughter, they don't necessarily, they look and they say, I don't really see the difference to when you were just going to school and working a couple jobs. You worked a lot, but you were still home, and I mean, it's not that much better off. Plus, every choice you're making is for arm wrestling. Like, you're choosing to spend money on arm wrestling to grow the thing, and it never grows, and yet the family's not seeing the returns coming back. So, the pressure, again, going back to I overpromised and underdelivered in my marriage, and now with arm wrestling, with every business I've done, I've talked a big game, and it's never coming back. And so as I'm almost 38 years old, and I have to decide, I can't. I went 9 months with a broken tooth. Every couple weeks I'd get an infection, and it was just awful, and it'd get swollen up and pains because I couldn't afford to go to the dentist. Or if I went to the dentist, I knew I had to take away from going to a tournament, and I ended up just saying F it, and I went to Tijuana and had a tooth yanked out, actually cut out, and it's like, I shouldn't be living like this. And so what I'm here to basically announce is that, and this isn't, you gotta understand, I've been weighing over this. What do I say? Bottom line is, in the month of August, I was only able to go to the Nationals. I didn't go to another tournament, not because I didn't want to go to another tournament, because the funds are just not there. The first couple of years, I dreamed big, and I got into so much debt, and I had these big fanciful dreams, and I wouldn't say I managed my money properly, and it just always behind. I was like, the true way to run a good business would to say, okay, I need these plane tickets for the next 6 months, and you buy them, you get them out of the way. We're never like that. And so I've learned a lot as far as how to stream videos. Streaming videos is a huge bursting business right now. So I'm having to make the choice where I go see if there's, other opportunities out there, something closer to home where I'm not traveling as much. And, I hate to say that that's a reality, but I'm not going to name everything, but you guys know, ARMTV Nation, if you watch, if you paid attention. I'm not the few people out there who think I'm evil and I've only looked at the few mistakes that I made. I'm talking about the people who know me, who see what we're doing, who believe, who see, hey, these guys are really trying to friggin' do something, and they're working hard, and we know what you're putting into it. I'm speaking to you guys out there. I mean, you know, I wouldn't be lying to you. I wish it were not so, but I have to. I mean, you know, we offer a yearly membership, and I, in confidence, have taken that year membership because I know I can deliver a product for the next 12 months. I can't guarantee that anymore. It's very difficult. And so, as of January, probably we'll just do it on our anniversary day, January 20th. We'll cease to offer the year membership. That'll be the last day. So, I mean, could it turn around in the next 3 months? I mean, I'm not going to do anything different. I've already tapped out my brain. I've come to the realization, I've accepted in my heart that this is the case, that arm wrestling was a stepping stone in my life, and I now have to look for something that's going to supply. Like my father, you know, when he had open heart surgery, he couldn't do any installs. And so if I get to the point where I'm still a one-man operation 20 years from now, and I have to have open heart surgery, and nobody can film tournaments, I mean, I don't want to have that kind of business. You know, it was always a goal to have film crews around the world, and employees and staff, and offer benefits, and then, you know, imagine sponsoring tournaments, life insurance, all that crazy stuff. All these big, you know, pipe dreams. But that's not going to happen. But if you say, well, Gary, don't leave us. Hey, I don't want to. I mean, if in the next 3 months we see a shift, then that would be all on your guys' end. If you could talk to your friends, you know, if one member just got another person, then we probably could continue. But as it is, every tournament we lose more members than we gain, and that's just a sad reality. And for you guys out there say, oh, you find sponsorship? If you take all the arm wrestling websites and combine them together, the hits and the traffic is still not enough to get a major sponsor. It doesn't even come close. If you truly want to take the sport to the next level, you have to pool your funds and start advertising or doing something to get outside of our base, which I felt ARMTV could do if people would have stayed members, but that's not going to happen. So, after January, we'll begin to go on a month-by-month basis. Maybe I'll change all the year memberships into 6 months at a time to 2 6 months incremental blocks. And then, you know, after 2011, we'll see how it goes. But, I mean, my fear is, just as we began small and went to more and more tournaments, as I find a different job or another something, I've already explained I'm kind of a one-focused guy. As I begin to focus on other things, ARMTV will probably get the short end of the stick. We'll lose membership. Eventually, maybe it'll have to become just free. Or anyways, I can't guarantee you once you know, I've been told by some people in, you know, the field that I have, you know, good qualities towards finding another job in the same sort of business. It's a booming industry, right? But that's not what I would like. But again, I have to think my future. I mean, the money is decent, but again, I try to spend all of it on promoting tournaments, and it's always a fine balance whether you're paying your car payment or going to a tournament. And when I do the math, and out of the year, I'm spending a month in airports, you know, I have to look to the spouse and show her a return and how this is benefiting us and our family for the long run. I'm not sure what else to say on the subject, and if this freaks everyone out and we get a mass cancellations tomorrow, then maybe we don't even make it to 2011. So please, for at least the next 12 or 15 months, stay on board so I can continue to deliver on the, you know, somebody signed up for a year yesterday. They want a product for the next 12 months, and so I will continue to deliver that. So stay on board as long as you can, and I do sincerely appreciate all that you've given me, all the experiences, all the friends that I've met, priceless. In my personal life, best times of my life have been in this sport, and I just want to thank all of you, thank all the promoters who have worked with us and who do want us there. So after 8 years, and to hear there's still people that wonder, why should we let you film your tournaments? Like, after 7 years, I wanted to show you more what I could do for you, but when you're barely hanging on, you can't improve your product. And so I apologize for failing you guys on that level. And I think that's it. Anymore. Oh, if there's anyone who thinks that this is because of some of the dumb shit that I've done in the last couple of months, no, that's not it. I mean, I feel that my record stands. I could literally write 1,000 things that I've done in the positive for the sport to the 1 or 2 things I've embarrassed myself or been goofy, and that's just me and my personality. Those people who love me know that that's just funky old Gary, and I stand by that. But this isn't. This has been deciding how to spend my future. It's been a very tough decision that has nothing to do with any promoter or any individual arm wrestler. That's it. Thanks.